just when you expect it. Meghan and Harry, they have shared their full itinerary with the media. Of course, they're trying to get as much attention as possible. I want you to also take a look at this other short clip from Prince Harry complaining and whining.
Family, unless the truth is out there. There's a lot that I can forgive, but there needs to be conversations, and then in order for reconciliation, and part of that has to be accountability. Within the family as such, there's a spare and the heir. My brother being the heir and me being the spare. There is...
I like that baby crying in the background. Very funny. My brother being the heir, and I am being the spare. So it rhymes pretty well. I think this is the best thing I have ever heard rhyming so well at the same time. Now I want to actually share this video with you guys from Lady C. Let's take a listen what she has to say, and then I'll make some comments.
My understanding is that Harry and Meghan's people are the ones who got in touch with Colombia to organize this visit, and it has duly been organized.
Wow.
Now, I have friends and relations in Colombia, and I can tell you what's being said in Colombia is not very flattering to either Harry or Meghan or the government. The government is in a big trouble. It is a government of chaos. It is a government of inefficiency, and they are evidently hoping to paper over the cracks with another royal, in quotes, visit. They had one a few months ago from Sophie, the Duchess of Edinburgh. And they're getting another one, except Harry and Meghan are no longer working members of the royal family. But you wouldn't know that from the missives that they have been sending out to the press, which I'm going to get to in a little while, because not only have the bongo drums been beating, but birdies have been dropping things in my lap. And I am going to read out to you some of what I have been told.
Okay, so what I understand from Lady C is that she will have a lot of information, and she will be able to fact check whatever we will see on the media coming from Meghan and Harry PR's team. And at the same time, right now, she is basically saying that the whole thing was organized by Meghan and Harry. It was not the other way around. Colombian president, vice president, whatever you call them, like they are not or were not ever interested in inviting Meghan and Harry. And I totally believe that, because this is what they do. As Harry himself, he said that I want to elevate the status of Meghan Markle to the one she should be accorded to, something like that. I don't remember exactly what he said, but I'm just paraphrasing that Meghan should be on a pedestal, according to Harry. And so when we see this kind of fake tour, royal tour, going to Colombia, it makes sense what Harry says. It resonates pretty well. Let's take a listen from Lady C a little bit more.
First of all, the visit is basically a three-pronged approach. Number one, to try to censor everybody. Number two, to keep themselves in the news.
Yeah.
And number three, to try to open up new avenues of Aurora. She's just passed by me, and all of a sudden my nose is running. Commercial activities, which of course will be purely and totally above board. But money is never far away from the agenda, nor is power, nor is their determination to shut everybody up so that they will have total control of the narrative. They have been briefing against the king, or their people, to be more accurate, have been briefing against the king in the most appalling way. What they have done is they have nominated Bianca Betancourt, who is, wait for it, the cultural editor of Harper'sBazaar.com, where, and I'm going to quote directly from Harper's Bazaar, where she covers all things film, TV, music, and more. When she's not writing, she loves impulsively baking a batch of cookies. Oh, how homegrown, how homespun. Re-listening to the same early 2000s pop playlist and stalking Mariah Carey's Twitter feed. How truly elevating all of that is. My goodness, the intellectual capacities are such that one really is absolutely stunned into verbosity instead of silence.
I don't understand how they will be gaining power by going to Colombia. Are they trying to convince foreign governments to act against the king? And that way maybe they will have some power over the monarchy and threat them in the future, that if you don't fulfill our demands, we're gonna be, I don't know, we're gonna be influencing more countries, more head of state. How? I mean, this whole thing is so sinister to me. Like, what Meghan and Harry they're up to is no good at all, because Colombian government, they're so corrupt. They're so corrupt. This degenerate government can actually do something crazy and stupid, just like the president's son did, Nicolas Petro, who, can you believe this? He brought in money, fundings from drug lords into his father's campaign, political campaign. And so, how can you trust these governments? I mean, Nigeria is already a corrupt, very poor country. What will be next? Are they going to be traveling more countries and try to convince all of them that somehow the British monarchy, they should be dissolved, and that they are not any good, and that they can actually work against you? I don't know. But what Ladies is saying here, something is very, very serious, guys. Very, very serious.
On the Nigerian tour, they had Simon Perry from People magazine. Now, Harry and Meghan have tame journalists. Normally, if it were a proper royal tour, you would have a journalist representing, a pool journalist, who would cover everything, write up the copy extensively, and hand it out to everybody else, who would then be able to disseminate it far and wide. Harry and Meghan, of course, complained about the rota system, and the pool system is an intrinsic part of the rota system. So what have they done? They complained about it. They said they were going to be giving young people who were starting out a chance to make their way in their journalistic careers. So Simon Perry from People magazine, and now Bianca Betancourt from Harper'sBazaar.com, both of which are extremely well-established companies, and both whose journalists are so lightweight. If they were a feather, they are so lightweight that they would have reached Mars 2 minutes after being released out of their canister. However, what Meghan and Harry's system is very simple. Approach journalists who they hope are friendly or tame and will effectively give them the narrative they want, and they will then be disseminated far and wide, which is what happened in Nigeria. Simon Perry did a very good job on their behalf. And now we have those feathers. They're getting up my nostrils. We have Bianca Betancourt, who's going to also be giving us a whole load of mush. I'm getting to more substantial bits of this in a second. Patricia May says, are the two frauds attempting to set up an alternate royal platform in the US? They have done everything they can to undermine the royal family and the institution as it is. Aurora, please, honey. Mickey, please, run into the kitchen. Mummy's throat is parched.
I think it is true that Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, they will be definitely this time trying to have a firm grip on the narrative about the whole trip and about them, but most importantly about the monarchy. And they're going to be obviously bad-mouthing about the monarchy to individual head of states, starting from Nigeria to Colombia. Next, I think they're going to be traveling to another neighboring country in the South American continent. And so they are up to no good at all. I mean, what Ladies is saying again, she's pinpointing some people's name who would be absolutely controlling the entire narrative, and whatever you will hear or see from Meghan and Harry, it will be coming from their own handpicked journalist. This is going to be an absolute disaster for us who are seeking the truth, but at the same time, we will make our own judgment, and we will decipher our own conclusion from looking at the body language of Meghan and Harry and the events they will be attending to. Everything now is happening under the disguise of we are going to be helping Colombia with this, Colombia with that, but underneath that there is something big, very, very sinister, very, very ominous going to be taking place. And now we know that the monarchy is at the same time talking about, or they will be talking about at the Balmoral Summit, how to exclude Meghan and Harry and take their titles away permanently. I believe Meghan and Harry, they know about this, that the monarchy is going to be discussing their title, and therefore they are preparing for it. And Colombia tour will only give them that opportunity to make it a voice that should be heard on a global stage, that the monarchy is racist and the monarchy is taking titles away unjustly, and that they are the victims. Absolutely, absolutely amazing. I mean, we will be finding more truth about them in the coming days. Stay tuned.